Hi, and welcome to On the Ballot with Ballotpedia, where we connect people to politics by providing neutral, nonpartisan, and reliable information on our government, how it works, and where it's headed. I'm Abby Campbell from the communications team, and thank you so much for being with us. I'm guest hosting today for a special episode with a fellow member of the communications team. Her name is Carly Allensworth. Hi, Carly.
Hi, I also have my little assistant with me today. This is Graham, our junior communication team member.
Graham is our junior communication team member, but arguably the MVP of the team too, I would say. So we're going to talk about the logistics or like the specifics of voting and how Ballotpedia can be there to help you every step of the process. So Carly, could you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so we're just really excited about the launch of our 2024 voter toolkit. We're working hard to get word out about probably my favorite tool that refines voter education each year. So it's a one-stop shop for prospective voters to arm them with as much information as possible as they head to the polls in November, and we just want them to feel confident and educated.
Absolutely, Joe, and obviously so does Graham. So could you tell us about some of the core features of the toolkit that you specifically are most excited about?
Yeah, so the toolkit, one of the big features is that we have the election help desk linked right there to it. The help desk covers 57 topics in 7 different categories. It's a lot of questions that you might not want to ask, when you go to vote in person. I think later we'll talk about that a little bit more. We also have election calendars, which are detailed highlights for important dates and deadlines about voter registration, absentee voting, mail-in ballots, that type of thing. So we never want anyone to miss a crucial step in the voting process. And then we've also got candidate and ballot measure details. Ballotpedia is known for their neutral coverage, but this allows voters to research their candidates and ballot measures and have side-by-side comparison for neutral information before they head to the polls.
Yeah, that's a lot of detail and it's super cool. Could you tell us about some other features that the toolkit provides?
Yeah, so one of our favorite features, a flagship of our toolkit, is the sample ballot lookup tool. It's been used by hundreds of millions of voters over the last several years. You can actually put your address in and pull up your sample ballot so that you can click through and research candidates, research ballot measures, and just have that side-by-side comparison that you need to go vote.
That's amazing. So as a hands-on learner, Carly, would you be able to give us a demonstration or a walkthrough of how we would use these features? Can we use you as a guinea pig?
Sure, let's dive in.
Thank you so very much.
Okay, so this is our voter toolkit page. When you jump in, you'll see you're a voter. This is all the information you'll need about the next election. So everything is organized in these easy to view tiles, from the sample ballot lookup tool to our help desk, to our candidate connection survey, which is where candidates can answer questions about themselves so that you have a little more information. Everything to our newsletters and our podcast on the ballot.
Yeah, there's a little on the ballot shout out.
We will hop into the sample ballot lookup tool. So I'm in Peoria, Illinois. So we'll just use, I'm just going to use the courthouse in Peoria as an address. Sorry, people, don't want to share my personal address with all of you. All right, so you just click on your address and then you've got your sample ballot lookup. You can see the next election is Tuesday, November 5th, which is in 50 days, if you can believe that or not. So on my ballot, there's currently 8 candidate races and 4 ballot measures. This will be personalized to you, for whatever is on your ballot in your specific area. So let's go. So you can see that first we have ballot measures on here. These are the questions that will be on my ballot. It's about reproductive health care. So you can click down and there's a detailed explanation of what voting yes means, what voting no means. the actual ballot question. Sometimes they can be a little bit confusing, so you can read through this before you actually head to the ballot box. If there's anyone of record supporting the ballot measure or opposing the ballot measure, that will also be on your ballot, so you know sort of which groups are advocating. So that will be for each of your ballot measures. And then you'll have federal, state, and depending where you live, you might have even local government races on there. It just sort of depends what city you're in. So if we go to the federal election, we can see we've got Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. You can click on each candidate's bio. You've got links to all of their personal party sites. And then if they've taken the candidate connection survey, those answers will be here as well.
Yeah, that's
so you can actually go. And you can actually go through and click on who you plan to vote for, and then at the end, it'll all be in one easy spot for you to print out or take a screenshot or anything else that you might want to do.
Thank you, Carly. That's super cool. I use the printout method. I fill out my sample ballot online, and then I bring a big packet to my polling location.
Abby's an exporter.
Exactly. They know, they see me coming when I cross out my sample ballot, when I put it on the ballot. So Carly, after you have a good grasp of what's going to be on your ballot and what you'll be voting on and how you feel about the ballot measures, what will you check out next on the toolkit?
Yeah, so let's just go back to our general toolkit page. Like I said, the help desk is one of our really cool features on this toolkit. So it's questions, frequently asked questions that we know people may be a little bit nervous to ask of their local voting officials. So you can see the different categories here of questions. It's everything from just like general voting to early voting dates, absentee voting. One of my favorites is, can I take a ballot selfie? Which, by the way, you should definitely check before you do, because it varies from state to state, as you can see. So yeah, I mean, this would be, after my sample ballot, this would definitely be where I go to look at everything to see what questions I might have.
Totally. This is one of my favorite pages. As both a bit of an anxious person and a lefty, I get worried about smudging my ballot when I'm filling it out. And there is a question specifically about what happens if you spill outside the lines. That is super helpful.
Very helpful.
Yeah.
There might be questions on there that you didn't know you needed to know. So I would definitely check it out.
That is so true, Carly. Thank you. So before you wrap up your voter prep, how might you use some of the other resources laid out in the toolkit?
So we have state election info sheets, which we'll actually download. And so you can look at those just to get detailed information about your state-specific elections. Another thing that's great are our trackers. So these are actually updated daily to provide all of our election experts information on bills and other political developments. So if there is a ballot measure or a state legislation action that you see on your ballot that you're curious about, you can actually search by it by name and have all of the up-to-date legislation tracker information on it. That is an awesome tool for policy changes that are happening across the country. The other thing we have is polls opening and closing times. Make sure you're not going to miss out on your chance to vote if you're voting in person. And then, of course, I would be remiss if I didn't plug our Ballotpedia newsletters. We have several newsletters covering a span of topics that Ballotpedia writes about. They are all free and digital, so we also encourage you to use that link to get signed up for a few of those.
Amazing. Carly, thank you seriously so much for taking the time to walk us through this. This was absolutely lovely.
Thank you for having us. We're so excited about the launch, and we're here to help you head to the polls confidently in November.
Yes, that especially is our main goal. And if you have any questions, please reach out. And for our listeners, you can learn more about the Voter Toolkit at the link in our show notes. We'll be back later this week with another episode. Make sure you subscribe to On the Ballot wherever you listen to podcasts. And I'm Abby Campbell with Carly for a comms takeover. And thank you for listening.